Silverstone, a cult location in motorsport, there is surely no better place to celebrate the birthday of an automotive legend. The Mini is 50 and has become a cult icon with a global fan base. And affection for the little runabout doesn't just unite countries. Tatiana tells us, if we didn't both have this passion for the Mini, it probably wouldn't have brought us together. So, happy birthday, Mini, and enjoy the Mini United 2009. Marcus and Tatiana from Munich don't want to miss the birthday party either. The last hurdle, driving on the left. Tatiana and Marcus discuss the right directions. Not at all easy when driving on the other side of the road. They're lucky and they get the exit right. After 1,230 kilometers, they have finally reached their goal, the Silverstone racetrack, a motorsport mecca, and now, for 3 days, the site of a huge party. 15,000 Mini fans have come together and many of them have brought their gems along. It's very nice to look around at some of these and see what you can really make out of the cars. Sometimes there are really extreme things around where I'd say, never ever, that's not for me. But some people like it, why not? Each to his own. At least high entertainment value is guaranteed. Tatiana and her friends can hardly believe how much there is to see. They immediately have to test out whether it's actually possible to get into this doorless Mini. The owner assures them, however, that the car is very good to drive.
Okay.
Very nice. Well, I've got one the same as this one behind you, and that's where the original idea came from. Obviously, Kevin, that's also owned by Palm Brothers, Kevin, and he's, as I say, he came up with the idea for that one, and he wanted a new one to match his old one. So it just made sense.
Imagination seems to have no bounds, and with many creations you could debate whether they're suitable for daily use, but that's not what this is about. At Mini United, the racetrack also has a good deal to offer. A particular highlight is the Mini 7 race class. Here, loyal fans of the classic Mini compete against each other. And there are still quite a number of these, despite the success of the new model. One reason for that, here truly anyone can take part, even with a small budget.
The heritage, the fun, everybody can own a Mini, from £100 to £10,000, and it's cheap. It's, to me, the best racing that you can get.
I've raced Minis for years, and it's just a passion that you get, and it's just fantastic to race them.
Marcus and Tatiana don't want to miss this racing event either. But despite the attraction that the old Mini holds for the spectators, for Tatiana there's no question of it being an alternative to her new Mini. If we ever have enough money, she admits. They always said that you needed two of the classic, one to drive and one for the garage. And when the new Mini came out, that's when I was really first infected by the Mini bug. It interested me before that, but after my dad always said that it's always broken and just rusts. There was never a question of getting one until the new Mini came out. And then I thought to myself, it's so cute, I want to have one someday. The Mini's success story began on the 29th of August, 1959. On this day, the British Motor Corporation presented their new small cars to the public, two models at once, the Morris Mini Minor and the Austin 7. The development of the cult small car lasted just 3 years, even though the specifications BMC gave designer Alec Isigonis were rather hazy. Build us a small car that's fun to drive and has space for 4 people and luggage. Thanks to its relatively low price of 496 British pounds, within very little time the Mini became the car for everyone.
Well, Isigonis, who was a great friend of mine, was told to replace the bubble car. And the secret of the Mini really is the east-west engine, front-wheel drive, and only 10 feet long, with a wheel at each corner. And he was the first man to make a car with the east-west engine front-wheel drive, of which 95% of the world car manufacturers have now copied, you know, in bigger cars.
Further models quickly came onto the market. Among them were the Morris Mini Traveller and the Austin 7 Countryman, plus niche cars like the Mini Pickup and the Austin Mini Moke. The most well-known model was drafted by sports car designer John Cooper. In 1961, he designed the legendary Mini Cooper, and 2 years later the Mini Cooper S, a powerhouse with a proud 70 horsepower, 1.1-litre engine and a top speed of 160 kilometers per hour. For the Mini, this development was the foundation for a successful career in motorsport. Just 2 years after its launch, racing driver Rauno Aaltonen achieved a class victory with the Cooper S at the Monte Carlo Rally. The Mini back then, it was a very small car, light, tiny, with little 10-inch wheels. You might imagine that it wasn't good, but that's not true. The car was so manageable. You could just throw the car into almost any drift and it would get through it well. Of course, the car didn't stick to the road like cars today. The car was almost in the air the whole time.
Das Auto hat sich nicht auf der Straße wie die heutigen Autos beklebt. Das Auto war fast in der Luft ganze Zeit.
After Aaltonen's successes, the sporty small cars racing career went rapidly uphill. In the winter of 1964, Paddy Hopkirk won the Monte Carlo Rally in a spectacular race. 1 year later, the duo of Timo Mäkinen and Paul Easter added another one. Despite catastrophic weather conditions and many dropouts, the two blazed their way to victory, and all without earning a single penalty point. The Mini didn't just continue its success in racing. The little runabout also conquered the roads like no other car. Within the first 6 years, around 1 million classic Minis were constructed. By the time production stopped in the year 2000, the figure had reached a huge 5.3 million. But the end of the classic Mini wasn't the end for the British small car. A new era began just half a year later. Under the influence of new parent company BMW, Mini underwent a complete relaunch with the newest technology. No easy task.
The old Mini is going to be the most difficult car to replace because of its size and everything. And obviously with the new safety regulations and emission controls, it's got to be bigger and slightly different. But the new Mini is going to replace the old Mini, believe you me.
The new Mini is similar to the old Mini. That means a short overhang at the front. The car responds extremely well and quickly to the steering. So it's everything that you'd expect from a sports car. Agile, precise. I would even say that back then the Mini was a princess. Beautiful, a little headstrong maybe. Today the princess has grown up. The new Mini is a queen. A queen who is in no way less popular than her predecessor, as the sales figures show.
Today the 1.5 millionth Mini comes off since the launch of the new car back in 2001, so a very special day, and I think quite appropriate, you know, that it's just over 50 years since the first Mini came off the line here in 1959, so a great celebration is in store. The old vehicle did about 5.5 million, but whilst having a great history and a great piece of design, it wasn't really a brand. And I think what we've successfully done in the last few years is to turn this into a worldwide brand.
Models like the Mini Cooper S and the Mini Clubman help to expand the brand hype to all walks of life, regardless of whether on the catwalk, at the 2006 World Cup, or in the Sahara. The small car is everywhere. Back at Silverstone, Tatiana finally wants to try out one of the many driving attractions for herself, but she's still looking. The men take control of navigation. It's a good thing that at Silverstone all roads lead to the racetrack. There, the Mini Challenge has a guest appearance this weekend. Between races, Tatiana takes the opportunity to sniff some racing air with a professional race driver as chauffeur. The little runabouts have it in them. 1.6-litre displacement, 211 horsepower, and a top speed of 240. Not for the faint of heart. That was, Tatjana and Marcus agree, very, very cool.
Ja, ist der Hammer. Aber ich glaube, ich habe gleich blaue Flecken vom Gurt. Das ist echt der Hammer. Geil.
Ja, ist also ganz witzig, vor allen Dingen auch, wenn man sieht, dass die Teilnehmer hinterher...
It's quite funny, especially when you see that the participants' eyes are shining so much afterwards. Mostly they're very happy with it and have to experience the braking and centrifugal forces for themselves, for once. Despite the white-knuckle drive, Tatjana hasn't had enough of the adrenaline rush. Quickly on to the next attraction. The rest of the agenda is eagerly planned. The mini stunt show is an absolute must. Tatjana and her friends are in agreement about that.
Ja, die ist geil.
Okay.
Die ist der Burner.
Auf jeden Fall.
Okay, dann machen wir's so.
The show by stunt driving legend Ross Swift is something hardly any of the mini fans would willingly miss.
Enjoying your day here so far. My name is Ross Swift. I've been involved with the Mini for 40 years now.
Ross prefers to let the Mini dance across the tarmac with a good-looking companion at his side. Tatjana is lucky. This time she's the chosen one. Does Tatjana know what she's let herself in for? To be on the safe side, Ross gives her a sick bag, which doesn't necessarily raise trust in his driving skills.
The Mini's got a fantastic following and they're a great bunch of people, and it's just a pleasure to see so many old faces and see so many new ones appearing with the latest version of the Mini.
Okay. The stuntman has saved his best trick for the end.
Hold on to my arm.
Okay.
Right. Can you scream very loud?
Do I have to?
Yes.
Okay. Sehr geil. Super, Hammer.
Very cool. Super. Brilliant. I would never have thought you could drive a car like that. I mean, it's a different way of driving a Mini, and I liked it very much. Very cool. With the slalom and the dancing around backwards and so on. He was still really relaxed there. I had the feeling, but then up the ramp, he really fought there. He really had to work hard. I would never have imagined that. He really gasped and cranked and did it. It's real work, really hard graft. For the grand finale, the godfather of Britpop, Paul Weller, takes to the stage. It was a super experience, which isn't really a common opportunity. It was huge fun, great party. And now we're going to go and celebrate a bit more. A half century of the Mini. Growing old can be wonderful.